All right, again with the blue light. So I guess we're going to go over the distortion part first and riff a bit. And I'll tell you what's up with this pedal. This is, it was almost good. So let's hear it. So that was the distortion part. Let's go over to the overdrive. So anyway, so here's where we're at with this. Trying to let you hear it for yourself, but if you're wondering what I think, the distortion side of it has that Boss DS1 thing, and I like that. It's like this overloaded, like anger, and I like that pedal. The overdrive wants to be the tube screamer, but the tone knob, unless you turn it the whole way up. And in some way you might sit here and go, maybe that's a good thing that he did it that way. Because then at times, you know how you battle with the tone knob and it doesn't really get, I don't know, like you don't get what you need out of it. Like you turn it up and it's like, and it's just immediately only bright. But if you were wanting to do something with like a flick of a switch, I mean, I guess it's not, you know, that easy. I mean, it's not that big of a deal to be like, here's my setting for my overdrive, here's my setting for my distortion, and you flip between them. But it's kind of like the overdrive side of it has like a, not a tube screamer. It sits between like a tube screamer and an overdrive. So you can get like a crunch out of it as you were kind of hearing. That wasn't too bad, but it's kind of like when I feel like when I put it at noon, it's so dark. The tone, it's just so dark. So maybe you're after that for something you're doing, but honestly, if you're trying to be like, oh, so I'll kind of like get the squeeze out of the amp and mess around with all this, you know, with the overdrive, then I'll have something like nice and overloaded or whatever on the other side. Yes and no. Yes and no. Like the Wampler bell drive sounds great, and I know that that's based off like the whatever that is, the German like tube screamer, and then there's the regular tube screamer, and those all have like that thing that kind of push the amp, and you can like really get a nice squeeze and get a nice like stinging tone out of it. That won't do that. That will not do that. Now, if I was stacking it with something else, and that kind of worked. If you ever messed around with stacking, that was kind of interesting, but it's like, what am I doing with the Boss DS1 side of it? Like, what's the, I mean, you wanted to drum up two different characters. I don't know. Maybe you had a tube screamer and you were using that, and then you wanted to take it from tube screamer to Insanity or something like that, and you were slamming that on through this, or you were stacking this through the tube screamer. I don't know, you know, but it's just kind of like the tone knob's really dark. That's the thing to watch out for with this. And like I said, the overdrive sits kind of between like a tube screamer and like your overdrive. To be honest with you, just like one of the Boss overdrives that you see that are just trying to be like, for example, like there's like the blues driver, and Boss at times will call things like that. And I like the name, but it's like, so what is this then? Like, are you a tube screamer or what are you? And it's just kind of like, I think trying to mimic overdrive, but maybe out of like an EL84, like it was like a particular overdrive they were going out of. Maybe Blues Breaker is what they might have been going for, but that's kind of its thing. And it has some other little touch dynamics, and you can dial in a good bit of distortion on that, you know, but it's kind of like, even one of those, it's like, you might as well just run one of those or something like that, because this like sits between it. And I'm like, I can't even say that it has like some mid-range tone when it's dark like this, that like here. I mean, I guess that sounds good. I don't know. I mean, you tell me. But I mean, the guy who made this said that when he was, for the overdrive part of it, as far as I understand what I read, he was saying that he was listening to early Prince records. That is what was like his influencing of the overdrive, or what, you know, whatever, and he was trying to make it a little more usable or something. So I was trying to get into that mindset, and I just couldn't. I don't know. I hope you're able to find a good use for it. I mean, it'd be nice if you had a pedal like this where you were just going to an open stage or going here or going there, and you wanted to get the sting out of your amp, but you also needed to like kick it over into like some 90s or something like that, and you had both. It's kind of cool, and I guess it kind of does that. I mean, I don't know. I love my highs. I love my presence. I love my bell-like tone. I love mid-range too, but this just isn't totally striking me. I don't want to discourage you, so I mean, you know, if this helped you decide, well, you know, I'm glad I could help. So don't forget that the subscribe button. Yeah, thanks for watching.